Greetings all and welcome to another episode of What the Fuck is a reborG podcast. It's reborG here. Don't know what the fuck it is, then keep listening. Got reborG in the house as usual, my co-host. And I don't have no facts for you, but I got an update on reborG. reborG, I think he had like an old man injury last night when I took him out for his walk, because he was walking and then he just laid down and started whimpering out of nowhere. So his front left leg or paw, I'm gonna say leg because I didn't find anything in his paw, but I think he got an injury right now. We don't do the vet because the vet is highway robbery. They ain't gonna charge me $1,000 just to give him some meds and shit like that. And that shit costs too fucking much. I don't give a shit. If his leg just be done, it just be done. But he was able to walk this morning, and y'all, send your love out to reborG, man. But getting into the topics, the first thing I want to talk about is anybody seen those videos of Bill Cosby wilding out? The video where he was turning to the side and and then the other video that I saw where he was coming down the steps leaving the courtroom and he just screamed out, "Hey, hey, hey!" Like, yo, the whole thing is funny. I know people don't, still see him as a terrible person and all that, but funny is funny. Fuck that. I'm sorry, that shit was hilarious. I know what he did is wrong in people's eyes, but, we don't even know if he did it. So we just going by word of mouth. So I don't put a stamp on whether he's guilty or not, and I don't place my bets on that until, hardcore evidence comes out, even if he's guilty, because, they tried to say Mike Tyson was guilty of forcibly eating pussy, but that's not a crime in my book, and I don't look down on Mike for that bad transgression. I just don't see it that way. So Bill out in these streets wilding, it was funny as shit. It was just even in the face of spending the rest of his life in jail, the fact that he still got that comedic humor with him. That was funny as shit to me. He really don't give a shit. That's what it looked like. In the small music news, Kanye released 2 tracks, The People vs. Kanye, with him and T.I. I thought that was pretty good. I don't get into the political aspect of it. I was just, he was just saying how he fucked with Trump personality because that's how his is, and I don't know if it was a troll or anything, but I enjoyed the rap. He was spitting. His flow was nice. Same thing with T.I. It was good to see T.I. with a different bass other than something in the trap. Because, I haven't been checking for T.I. like that in, recent years. So it was just good, that one. And the other track, I forgot. Was it Everybody Lift or something like that? That was good. Like the beat. Whatever he did at the end, it's not trash or garbage to me. I was already into the beat, so it really wouldn't even matter what he was saying. So that's how I played it. Looking forward to the album. I know I told y'all last week that it wasn't going to be sports heavy, but that was me jumping to some stupid shit, not thinking, because I knew I was going to review the draft. So this was going to be another episode, which is draft heavy. But I'm not going to promise, but it won't be because, other than the playoffs, NBA playoffs, which I go, extensively into because I don't go deep into the NHL playoffs like that. But there'll be some basketball talk, and I'm going to try to fill y'all. Next week will probably be a lot of hip-hop top 5s. My top 5 artists, albums, songs, beats, producers, this, that, and the third. We're going to make it real hip-hop heavy next week. Not a promise, but that's what the aim is. Okay, in the NHL playoffs, the Penguins got jerked. I'm a Capitals fan. I'm an Ovechkin fan. But the Penguins got had in Game 2. So I expect them to beat the shit out of the Capitals in Game 3. It'll probably look ugly. The Vegas Knights look normal for once when they lost to the Sharks the other day. I really didn't expect that because, the Vegas Knights been combing through everybody like a perm. Been beating the shit out of most teams, so we'll see where that goes. After, taking a loss against the Sharks. Still checking for Nashville. Shout out to PK. and that's on that one. In boxing, I watched the Daniel Jacobs fight this past weekend, and he called out what's the boy named Charlo. I think his name is Jermal or something like that. He called him out, and I think that would be a good fight. I'm looking forward to that later in the year. I'm not gonna say Canelo Alvarez. You get a fuck you. Yeah, we'll put it like that. You know you could have waited on them roids. Taking roids because you knew when I feel he took the roids because I don't think he felt that he could get a decisive win against Triple G. I think he went at it clean the first fight. Then he tried to adjust. He said it was meat, but not for that suspension. Now that won't no tainted Mexican meat. But in other words, you fucked up the Cinco de Mayo, man. I was gonna get some Modelo and some Coronas, go over to the homie's crib, get drunk and watch some great boxing. Cause usually on a card like that, they got those phone booth Mexicans, and when I mean phone booth, is both fighters are standing right in front of each other, like both of them are in a phone booth and they just throwing bombs. But I just we all just gotta wait and see, when the next fight, In other sports news, top 5 basketball recruit Romeo Langford finally committed to Indiana. And I think it's a good look for Indiana. They need somebody, especially a local kid, who I think has the talent to be something. The guy can. Romeo Langford can get buckets. He has an advanced offensive game, especially for a high schooler. So for them to get a local kid who can come in and help, I don't know what he has around him. That should be the main thing that the coach should be trying to do, is get the rest of those guys ready to be able to play with him, because we saw with Trae Young how his team wasn't prepared for when teams adjusted for Trae Young. So best of luck to the kid, man. I think barring injury, he'll probably be a top 10 pick in 2019. Okay, with the NBA playoffs, between the last pod, the Jazz defeated OKC. That was a foul. They should have called that, gave them a chance. They probably would have lost the next game anyway. But, that's how that goes. I can't vouch for the way Russell was acting on the court. He was trying to play bully ball. And, if you're from the hood, you know what bully ball is. And that's what he was trying to do. Now, the stuff off the court, I don't knock him for that. Because, you in Utah, I watched the game. I saw the fans. It wasn't a lot of black people. And, fans say reckless things to players, okay? I don't think he was just acting out of emotion for just taking an L. But, the fans, they come off wrong. I mean, we've heard videos. That's the one thing about this generation with the video and the camera phone and all that, this internet age. What you say will come out. If people want to catch you saying something foul, they can make it happen, So I think that they should, try to tighten up on that. I mean, you can come out there and say you're a bum, you fucking stink and all that other shit. But, for him to get that mad and slap the dude's phone, he was probably getting on some personal. Here goes this pussy ass motherfucker, Russell Westbrook. That's not necessary. You can laugh. I don't think anybody get mad if you just took that L. But as far as Westbrook goes, I think the team should go in the direction of finding players that fit him. Stop just trying to throw players with him like they have the past 2 years, and it hasn't worked the way it's supposed to. Just find players that can fit him. If you put him on Philly, I think Philly gets the same results. Put some shooters around Russell Westbrook. That's what he needs. He doesn't have guaranteed shooters like that. Paul George is more of a scorer. Melo's old. I'm sorry. Melo fan his whole career, even in high school, and he just old now. He just is not there anymore. I think he would be best suited to come off the bench, but he already said it's out of the question. So they should be looking to just put players around him that will not help, but make it easier for him. If he got some traits, I can tell you this right now. If he driving to the cup and he can pass it to a Redick, Ilyasova, Bellinelli, Sarge, like Philly's been doing all year, the team would look a little bit better. Step your game up, Billy Donovan. Don't try to come in and just go with the flow. That's not going to work with him. You sit down with him, find out what he wants to do, what he needs, who he sees fit, and then you go about it. Be a coach, man. And as far as the Jazz winning, shout out to them. Ricky tweaked his hamstring, and as Herbert, the pervert, said in Family Guy, make sure you stretch those creamy hamstrings. So stretching is important. But with the Jazz, Houston beat the shit out of them. They don't have an answer for Houston. I think Houston has too much, especially as far as all around goes. Not only can they get buckets and shoot threes, they can play defense. And not just the interior defense from Clint Capella. Reason can play some defense. Chris Paul's pretty decent on defense. PJ Tucker's pretty good. I'm not going to say Harden's pretty good. He's good in passing lanes. You know, you're not going to be able to sneak a lot of passes around Harden like that. But outside of that, they are a pretty good team. So I really don't, you know. Of course, the Jazz will win some games, but I think the series is pretty much called. The other series that ended, the Cavs and the Pacers, I knew the Pacers was going to play stupid as hell. I knew they were going to come out and just not do. Victor Oladipo going almost 2 quarters without scoring points. What type of sense does that make? Shot too many damn 3-pointers. You one of the most athletic players on the court. Drive to the cup and get a bucket. You know, I know the 3-pointer looks sexy, and Golden State makes it look like it's such a best way to win. But you have to remember, all those guys are trained shooters. And I'm speaking of Curry, Thompson, and Durant. They are trained shooters. They've been working their whole lives shooting. It's not like, you know, Oladipo wasn't shooting that many threes in Indiana, and he wasn't shooting that many threes in Orlando. I don't want to speak about the OKC. He was bad. It was a bad fit. None of it worked. So, but drive to the cup. And one player that I think, I'm not going to say step it up, but needs to grow up is Miles Turner. He's built and has the same skill set as Karl Anthony Towns, but he doesn't play like it. He keeps thinking, I guess he's a 6'8" small forward. You can't have your 7'1" ass playing on the wing. Get your ass in the box, get in the paint, and get those buckets. Okay, we know you can shoot 3-pointers. Okay, but we don't need you to do that. Cleveland doesn't have anybody your height. You know, they'll have Thompson, who, you know, not your height, but he'll be rough with you. But you can use your skill to out-rebound him. Play defense on him. Box out. Score in the paint. Use your skill set. You know, I expect more from him next year. And the Celtics took out the Bucks. Good coaching by Brad Stevens, man. He made it happen. And he did it again last night when the Celtics beat the shit out of the Sixers. The Sixers were off with the shots, but they're playing a more athletic team from top to bottom. You know, Al Horford can get out there, switch on a pick and roll, get out there and defend the 3. Excuse me, sorry. You know, they're playing a younger team, and they're playing a more motivated team, better coached team. I don't think Miami has that umph, and I don't think Eric Spoelstra has that umph. I don't think he's a bad coach, but I don't think he'll help your team grow beyond a certain point. But the Celtics got in them, found out that the Sixers, and when I say you got the Redick, Ilyasova, Sarge, and Bellinelli out there, these guys aren't that strong on defense. Boston took advantage of that. In the other series, Golden State, New Orleans, that's probably done. I saw the disappointment on Anthony Davis' face. I felt bad for the guy. You know, you could tell he really wants to win, but he doesn't have the horses to go against these guys at this point. Sad thing is, you know, he wants to do it for New Orleans since they drafted him, but he'll probably have to go somewhere else to make it happen, man. You know, feel bad for the guy, but, you know, like they say, man, that's how the cookie crumbles on my old white man shit, you know. But I'm enjoying the playoffs. The Cavs versus the Raptors. I got the Cavs winning it. They've owned the Raptors the last 2 years in the playoffs, and I don't think the Raptors, even with their improvements among the bench and, you know, with the improvements of DeRozan and Valanciunas and, you know, other players, I don't see them. I don't see it happening. So some asshole called and hung up after the first ring. Let me put this shit on silent, man. Damn it. And you probably won't hear Boy doing too much barking. That leg is getting on his fucking nerves. So, but back to the topics. Go ahead with my draft overview. I'm going to go over who got picked where, just the first round, and just tell you what I think about the pick, okay? First pick, we got Baker Mayfield to the Browns. I think they could have waited to get him, or maybe they couldn't have waited. They still could have got a good quarterback. I don't think he is overwhelmingly better than the other three quarterbacks, so they could have waited and made it happen. Saquon Barkley to the Giants. A lot of people don't like this pick, but they didn't have a problem with Zeke, Elliott, and Leonard Fournette going in the top 5, and Zeke led his team to the playoffs rookie year. Last year, Fournette didn't put up like all-time numbers, but he was good, and he helped that team get to the playoffs. I'm not saying that Saquon Barkley will do that, but he definitely will help the team. With the new coach, Pat Shurmur, he's already made a decisive effort to make the offensive line better because he was the offensive coordinator at Minnesota, and he helped that, help that team get better offensively, even using, two different quarterbacks last year. I was waiting for them to fail as far as Case Keenum and Sam Bradford goes, but it never happened. They still played good offense. Even when Dalvin Cook got hurt, they were still an efficiently offensive team. And I think that's what he'll bring to the Giants. It's going to keep Eli upright. Probably didn't get a quarterback because they didn't see anybody that they wanted. And they knew with, Pat Shurmur's pedigree of making offensive lines better, that they probably do have another 2 or 3 years, or they can wait till next year to find Eli's replacement. They're just getting Sam Darnold at number 3. That was cool. They got Quincy Enunwa at wide receiver for the Jets, but I don't see it. It's a wait and see. And when I'm talking about these picks, I'm just saying whether it fits or if they have the chance to succeed. We don't know how good they'll be. We don't know at all. So I'm not going to say it's a bad pick. I'm just saying, you could have went another way or this, that, and the third. Now, on top of the Baker Mayfield pick, I forgot to put that out there. I think this is the plan. They're getting ready to get rid of Hugh Jackson. They're going to let Tyrod play. If the team don't make the playoffs, I even think if the team does make the playoffs, they're going to fire Hugh Jackson, bring in a hotshot offensive coordinator from another team so he can help with Baker Mayfield. Or if their offensive coordinator is somebody that they have that, that they're going to put in position to start next season, I see Baker Mayfield starting with no question, even with Tyrod under contract. Back to the draft. Browns' 4th pick, they took Denzel Ward. I'm not going to say it's a bad pick. I just don't think that they needed Denzel Ward. I think they needed Bradley Chubb more because of what I said about, my fake mock draft. He takes up double teams. He frees up Myles Garrett to do some things. Now you have to adjust your line to block 2, instead of just 1. And I think a strong defensive line helps make it easier for your corners to play the way they want to play. One of the reasons Marshawn Lattimore was good for the Saints, on top of his skill and him being a good player, with Sheldon Rankins and Cameron Jordan for the Saints putting so much pressure, it makes it easier for the defensive backfield. The defense works like it's football. Everybody has to work together. Old ass Terrence Newman and Xavier Rhodes and Harrison Smith can make those plays and do those things for Minnesota because they have Danielle Hunter with that strong pass rush. Linville Joseph taking up a lot of bodies. So I think they should have went with the line. No offense to Denzel Ward, but I don't think he would, I don't think he'll impact the team as much as Bradley Chubb had. Bradley Chubb going to the Broncos as a Raider fan. You're going to put this guy on the other end, opposite Von Miller. He gets to learn under Von Miller, one of the best pass rushers in the league right now. And sky's the limit. Derek Carr, talk to your line. There's going to be some problems. The Colts getting Quentin Nelson at 6 was a good pick. I think you have to have your line together because I think the lack of an offensive line, the prospect of any other lineman for the Colts being better is what kept Andrew Luck hurt. I don't think he wants to play until he knows that he'll be blocked for. No problem with that. I think I like to see him out there. I think Andrew Luck's really talented. T.Y. Hilton's pretty good. So I just want to see what they can see if they're going to help him, become, what he could be. Because it was less than 5 years ago they was in the conference championship. It wasn't that long ago. So protect your quarterback. Shit. 7, pick the Bills, pick Josh Allen. I don't have a problem with the pick. They need a quarterback. The Peterman thing failed, so they got to put him in there. I think they might fuck up and start him from day one because in practice, he's going to look great. I'm telling you. Physically, he's the most talented out of all of them. Height, weight, can run, can throw the ball, all that stuff. But I think when the game, he's going to have to get used to game speed. And he doesn't have the luxury of sitting on the sidelines and doing it behind a veteran. Because I think they have A.J. McCarron there, but we don't know. He hasn't started that much. So we don't have a clue. The Bears pick Roquan Smith at 8. I think that's good. You already made the proper picks to make your offense better. Now you make the defense better. Not only is he athletically gifted, he's a sure tackler. I didn't see too many times where people broke tackles on him. I think that was a good pick. 9, the 49ers getting Mike McGlinchey. I think they have a plan for that. I don't think he's going to start left tackle because they already have one. So I think he's going to sit and learn first because, that's the best thing. I wasn't big on him. I didn't think McGlinchey was worth, I think from 20, pick 20 on down was where he could have got picked, where you have a veteran or a coach that'll help him, do this, that, and the third. 10th pick, Arizona, Josh Rosen. Pretty good pick. They need a quarterback. I didn't see them coming out and playing Sam Bradford. I just didn't see it. And he probably will play some games, but one or two things will happen. He'll either get hurt or he'll play bad enough that Rosen has to play. Now, Rosen has a luxury that the other quarterbacks don't really have. Carlos Hyde is good, but most people would pick David Johnson over him. And the Bills, the Jets, and the Browns, good receivers, but not legendary like Larry Fitzgerald. Jarvis Landry is good for the Browns, but Larry Fitzgerald's a legend. So, no offense to Jarvis Landry, but as a young quarterback, I would like a legend. I would much rather have a legend showing me some things than just a good receiver. Not to say that Landry is not good or he won't become legendary, but right now, Larry Fitzgerald is the first ballot Hall of Famer, okay? And that's like I said, not a knock against Landry, but I think he ended up in a good situation. 11 picked the Dolphins, Minka Fitzpatrick. It's the Dolphins. They need everything. Just go for it. Fuck it. You can't go wrong with that. 12, the Buccaneers picking Vita Vea. Good pick. I think with him and Gerald McCoy on the inside, they could wreck. They can wreck a lot of shit, especially with the good quarterbacks and the good offenses in the NFC South. You got to go against Matt Ryan and the Falcons offense. The Saints, we already know what Drew Brees and Sean Payton. Then you got Cam, and they got versatility. They healthy Olsen coming back, and McCaffrey. You got some wideouts. So for you to crush that pocket will make it easier for everybody else. Pick 13, the Skins. Pick Deron Payne. I like the pick. It gives them a nice athletic, high motor guy, and I think he can he can be one of those contagious type players. Like, he's always up, he's hyped, he's ready to go, and I think that'll help. 14, the Saints picking Marcus Davenport. I think it's cool because he'll come in and learn under Cameron Jordan, and I think he'll be a good replacement. A lot of people didn't like the pick because they think they should have picked Lamar Jackson or found a replacement for Drew Brees, but Brees ain't been hurt this whole time he been there, not for real. And I think Sean Payton is confident enough in his offensive scheme, and his players that he can keep Drew playing for the next 2-3 years. And when it's time to find a replacement, he will. Or maybe they already have one in their backup. We just don't know because he doesn't play. Pick 15, the Raiders pick Colton Miller. As a Raider fan, I got a segment later on after this first round. I'll talk about the Raiders shit later. All right. 16, the Bills get Tremaine Edwards. This was kind of a good value pick. I didn't expect to see him fall that far because usually he's like 6'3", 245, great athlete. The kid can move. I think he just has to learn. It's a good pick for the Bills. I don't know who their defensive coordinator is. Are really familiar with their linebackers, but if they have the right pieces around the kid, this could end up being something great. You know, it can end up being something good. It's always a chance to go either way. But I thought it was a good pick. 17, the Chargers pick Derwin James. Good pick as a Raider fan. What the fuck? This guy, I don't know how he felt at 17. He's just a good football player. He can make plays. He can change the identity of your defense. And I think the fact that he fell, a couple of teams may have to, they might pay for it later on. 18, the Packers picked Jair Alexander. I think that's good. I said in the mock draft that they should pick Derwin James to give their defense an identity. This guy with his upbeat attitude, his cockiness, he's a talker, but he can play. And I think that's what's missing from the Packers defense is, I'm not going to say swagger. That's an overused word. Gives your defense moxie and that confidence and that stick your chest out. It gives you that sense of invincibility, if you've watched football in the last year or two, watch the Vikings defense. The Vikings defense, outside of if they're playing somebody like the Saints, but when you watch them week to week, that's a dominant defense. That's a defense that goes out there, and for the most part, they know they're going to fuck you up. That's just all there is to it. I think that's a good pick. It leads to, a better defense for the Packers, which is what they need. Pick 19, the Cowboys pick, what's his name? Leighton Vander Esch, or whatever his name is. I think that's a good pick. You help replace Sean Lee, make your linebackers better, can help, all three levels. Pick 20, the Lions pick Frank Ragnow. He wasn't even the top-ranked center, I don't think. He wasn't even the highest-rated center, so I don't even know. That's another just wait-and-see process. I would have picked a running back. You need that running back or another wide receiver, linebacker. The center just didn't seem like the spot that they really needed that help at. Pick 21, the Bengals pick Billy Price. On the flip side of that, this pick is good because you've seen what the Bengals have been able to do with their line. Their plug-in, their play pieces. Maybe, the two tackles that they drafted didn't work out, but they find a way to use them. So I think this pick worked because it's later in the draft. They don't have those type of glaring needs that the Lions have. So they could have just made that pick. Pick 22 for the Titans, Rashaan Evans. I mean, it's pretty good. You've added youth to your defensive backfield last year with Adoree Jackson. I think this will work out pretty good if you have the right coaching staff around them. I guess they figured it wasn't a receiver to pick because, let's be honest, they need one. And they're going to need a backup running back. I don't think you're going to give the Derrick Henry the ball 20, 30 times a game. That's not the way the game's played right now. I don't see them, doing that. The Patriots at 23, Isaiah Wynn. I'm going to tell you this about the Patriots. Whoever they pick until they fail, that's when it becomes bad. This is a good pick. Even though the guy's short, he handled playing offensive tackle for a national championship team. He kept a freshman quarterback upright, and he had 2,000-yard rushes behind him. On top of the fact that they were putting freshmen in the games, DeAndre Swift. They were using at least 3 or 4 running backs. I really think that adding a lineman of this caliber, even if he's too short to play tackle, I would try him out at tackle just to see how it works. And if it doesn't work, you can switch him down to guard. Either way, I think he was a better offensive lineman pick than a Mike McGlinchey and the ones that went before him. The NFL has a problem with height, which is weird. Isaiah Wynn is too small for offensive tackle. But Baker Mayfield is not too small of a quarterback, even though being 6 feet. What did Baker Mayfield do to alter the thoughts of GMs? Because throughout my whole life, short quarterbacks get shitted on. I watch them shit on Flutie, and I watch Russell Wilson. Breeze couldn't go in the first round because he was short. The only reason Vic went first is because once-in-a-lifetime talent. Not to knock Baker Mayfield, but he's not a once-in-a-lifetime talent. Not to saying he'll be bad or he stinks, but, he's not the talent that Michael Vick is. Let's all just be honest. But, they got to get over that short shit. The Panthers pick at 24, pick a DJ Moore. I didn't see a lot from the guy in Maryland. I thought he was okay. Steve Smith liked the pick. He said they finally replaced him. So, we'll see. This is another one of those wait-and-see picks. For the Ravens, 25, they pick Hayden Hurst. I know they picked tight ends before with Crockett Gilmore and Max Williams, but both of those guys have been injury-prone. So bringing in Hayden Hurst, I think is a good look. Your wide receivers have already been taken care of with free agency. You got a nice stable of running backs that you can, interchange move that you can use. And I think Hayden Hurst, who I give props to last year, because South Carolina wasn't that good, the quarterback wasn't that great, and he still played hard. And he still played like, they had a chance to do something. They even was giving him the opportunity to run the ball, and very rarely do you see people running tight ends. But shout out to him. I think it'll be a good pick. I think it'll work out, barring injuries. The 26th pick, Falcons pick Calvin Ridley. Nice small route runner, can get himself open. Enough athleticism to get by some guys. And you put him on the other side of Julio, he don't even have to worry about no double team. So we good to go on that. If you heard that was Boy whimpering because he won't stop moving, and just lay down and relax, okay? I think that's a good pick for the Falcons. 27th, the Seahawks, they picked Rashard Penny. Nothing against Rashard Penny, but I don't think the Seahawks should be drafting anything other than a line. You saw how poor your line was last year. They didn't even let the running backs who already proved to be good, they didn't even let them get off like that. And Russell Wilson was running like he was catching the spirit in church, man. Just trade up, do something, go get some line, man. Not a bad, I'm not going to say it's a bad pick because the guy may end up being good, but you don't have no line. So, I don't, it's hard to tell with that one. And the 28th pick with the Steelers, Terrell Edmonds, they called out Ryan Shazier for this. And I think, it was okay. It was cool that they brought him out to show, he's well and he's improving. But get that man a scooter, man. He was taking all day, man. Y'all might say I'm fucked up, but don't tell me that he won't take it too long walking up to that podium, all right? I know the guy's going through a lot, but hey, we want to speed this process up. We've been up all night. The 29th pick, the Jaguars pick Taven Bryan. I'm going to just say it could work because the Jaguars defensive coordinator is that good. The defense is that good. With, I don't know, the guy's name at the defensive end, that's real good, and Calais Campbell, the guy got a chance to be something. The Vikings pick at 30. Tell you this about the Vikings. I already complimented their defense, and Coach Mike Zimmer is a defensive coach. Anytime they pick a defensive player, it's a good pick. So it ain't even no need to go no further. Pick 31, the Patriots pick Sony Michel. Works, versatile back. Get you 15 carries and catch out the backfield. I don't see a problem with it. Pick 32, the Ravens pick Lamar Jackson. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. So, 1 second. Boy's kind of fucked up. Hold up. Okay, Boy scared the shit out of me. And the only reason he making that noise is he will not lay the fuck down and relax. He keeps moving. Look at him. If you could, I said look at him. Y'all can't see shit. He keeps moving instead of just laying his ass down, taking the pressure off that leg, and just relaxing and going to sleep. He's fucking hard-headed. 1 second. Shit. Alright. For the last pick, like I said, Ravens, Lamar Jackson. I think it's a good pick. Kind of shows that they're losing confidence in Flacco. I don't know what Harbaugh can do in quarterback, so, don't know if it's a good or bad pick. I know they got a line that's pretty decent and steadily improving. You got tight ends, wide receivers, he has weapons, so we'll just wait and see. He's an athletic kid, Lamar Jackson. He has the tools, but will Harbaugh take the time and put the work in, will he put the work in along with the coach to make himself great? That was the first round. Really, not as surprised as everybody else was. I was surprised with the Baker Mayfield pick and a couple of others. But to be honest, this draft, it wasn't like, with an abundance of Hall of Famers. Now, if it does, power to the kids. Power to them, man. I want everybody to succeed and make it happen. But Bradley Chubb is the only defensive lineman worth that top 5 grade. You figure with Lil Bosa, Dexter Lawrence, Christian Wilkins, Rashawn Gary, Ed Oliver, those are guys who could have went in the top 15 in this draft. So, we'll wait and see what they can do. More power to them. And now I'll take you to, I'm not going to call it a winner and loser section. I'm going to go more with they pick players that fit them well. Because I don't want to do, winner and loser section that, really wouldn't make that much sense to do anything like that. Because we don't know what these guys will become. So these are some of the teams that I thought picked well in the draft. The Bills, Darren coaching, they made some good picks that could help at every part of the field. They just made the playoffs last year, so it's not like they completely and utterly stink. So they should be fine. I see all those guys fitting in the spot and helping. Another team, the Bears. I think the Bears made good picks with Daniels in the second round and Miller from Memphis. I think Miller was kind of slept on. Probably didn't have the best offseason that he could have. But as far as game film goes, he did his thing. And I think, like I said, when I'm mentioning these teams, most of the picks fit and can help. Another team, the Bengals. I think every pick they made not only can help, but, is somebody that they might not even need the great coaching. Just the fact that they're in there and they're along with the other players at the section that can make it happen. I like Jesse Bates, the safety. He was a good playmaker. I like Sam Hubbard. He played well with, his surrounding good defensive line players. I think he can do that at Cincy. Malik Jefferson, he has the athleticism that you could come in and replace Vontaze Burfict. I think they're done with his antics at this point. Mark Walton, pretty good running back from Miami, probably would have got drafted higher had he played because he got hurt at a couple of games in. Like Andre Brown, Arden Tate the last round. I think Cincy always drafts well. I don't have confidence in, what's the name of the quarterback? Oh, shit. Andy Dalton. I don't think he can lead the team to a bowl, but I think with this draft, they've saved Marvin Lewis's job for another year. The Browns. I think the Browns had a decent draft. I think they reached on Baker Mayfield, but, Denzel Ward's good. But I think they should have went another way. But Denzel Walker still play. Austin Colbert will be good at the offensive guard. Nick Chubb's a good running back. Chad Thomas, once he learns the intricacies of the defensive end position, he has a chance to do something really nice. Another team, the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys pick players that they're strong with helping and making better. And, I don't have a problem with none of the picks. Connor Williams doesn't have to play. He can learn. One of the strongest offensive lines in football right now. Can make it happen. Michael Gallup was a good receiver. When he played against Bama, they roughed him up. He didn't look as good. But, you don't have to play them all the time. You're not going to be the number one receiver, so you have a chance to do something. Dalton Schultz at tight end. If he's not the receiver that Witten is, he is the blocker that Witten is. So both Scarborough in the 7th round. I didn't hear anything about him in the offseason, so I guess that's why he fell. But pretty good picks. Another team that I liked their picks was, give me a second while I go down the list. The Chargers. I think the Chargers had a good draft. Picking for need and, just improving with every pick. Let me see who else we got here. I liked the Vikings picks. Half of them were half of them were defensive picks. So, with that can make it happen. Like the Patriots picks, like Berrios late in the rounds. Braxton Berrios getting picked in the 6th round. My dad predicted this in the middle of Miami season. Because we're Miami fans, and he was one of the best, players on the offense. And my dad said, I would love for him to go to the Raiders because me and my dad are Raider fans too. But he said he'll probably end up at the Patriots. We had a great laugh about that when he got drafted. I think Duke Dawson fits pretty well, I think, But it's the Patriots. That's what they do. I liked the Giants picks. With Saquon Barkley was good. Will Hernandez to go beside Solder. Pat Shermer. Lorenzo Carter. He can come in. Him and B.J. Hill being defensive linemen, they can come in with the already strong and established defensive line next to Harrison and, keep that pushing forward. Lionetta, 4th round, they probably didn't have that many picks. That's why they went with him. He looked good in the Senior Bowl. If it works, he replaces Eli, and they don't have to worry about using that pick. If it doesn't, just make him the backup, Let me see who else. Philly did pretty good with the little bit of picks they had. They used a lot of trades to go up in the draft to get Carson Wentz. So I thought that was, and with the minimum picks they did have, I think they did pretty good. Tampa Bay looked pretty good to get Charlton Davis. That late in the 2nd round was pretty good. You get Ronald Jones, more versatile than Doug Martin, who's gone. And, he opens up your offense a little more. I like the picks. I think they did pretty good. The Skins did pretty good, too. To get Darius Geis, what they got him. Get a nice athlete in Troy Apke for safety. Christian, I'm going to be honest. As far as offensive line goes, between James Daniels, Isaiah Wynn, and Quentin Nelson, and William Hernandez, those 4 I saw coming in that can start right away. They'll probably have their bumps and bruises because it's a whole new game once you get to the league. But I didn't think this was that strong of an offensive line class to, be jumping out the window for nobody. Right. But that was some of the teams I think did good in the draft. Not going to go over who did bad. But I will discuss my Oakland Raiders. Not mine as possessive, mine as in the team I root for. Didn't like the picks. Didn't like the picks at all. The only ones I thought were cool were Maurice Hurst. God, and that's just about it. PJ Hall was alright because I reserved judgment because I didn't know nothing about the guy. But Colton Miller, we could have. I understand trading for picks. But in a draft where you're not that sure about kids and there's not a lot of star power in the draft, Why trade for third and fifth rounders? It's a waste. We don't need them. We could have stayed in our spot, picked up Vita Vea, Derwin James, Terrell Evans. We could have picked up any of those guys and helped that shitty defense that was rated in the bottom 5. They wouldn't pick Colton Miller. Figured that they would go offense with the first pick with John Gruden coming back because he's the offensive coach. And I don't like that. The fact that we didn't improve on the defense with our first pick when there was a chance with good defensive players in this draft to help. And they went and picked Colton Miller. Now, one of the knocks on Josh Rosen was durability. And it wasn't durability because he was soft. It was durability because he was consistently getting hit. Why grab his left tackle? And when they made the pick and put up his strengths and weaknesses, one of his weaknesses was durability. Like, what type of sense does that make? I understand we want an offensive tackle. Okay? That's understandable. Donald Penn's 35, 36. He's up there in age. Doesn't have that much time left. We would want to replace him. But why not wait until next year where we can get a Jonah Williams or a Greg Little or any of the other upcoming offensive tackles that we could use that have proven themselves? They showed the Colton Miller highlight. Usually when you showing highlights, it's pancakes with offensive lineman highlights. You know, pancake defensive lineman. Putting them down. Pulling on guards. Knocking motherfuckers out. You know, showing the quick feet. Pass rushing. Showing the good, you know, going up against the good pass rushers. Showing their feet and their handwork. They showed him just hold people on 2 plays. And then they had a highlight of him on the fucking field goal team. What the fuck? All he did was stand up and put his hand on the shoulder to the lineman next to him. I didn't like the pick. The PJ Hall pick, I don't know anything about the kid because he played for Sam Houston State. But I just, you know, we could have waited. Brandon Parker, offensive tackle, no. Might even be better than Colton Miller. But we don't need to be wasting no picks on these damn linemen that we're unsure about. It's an unsure lineman draft. I already gave the 4. They didn't pick any of them. They let all them pass. So for them to just be picking up linemen like this, then they picked up Arden Key in the 3rd round. Nigga, please. You just said they've already came out as an organization and said the reason that they got rid of Crabtree and Marquette King was because of attitudes. And they don't want that type of player in the locker room. Why in the fuck would you grab Arden Key, who was known for that shit? Cut the nonsense out, man. I like the Maurice Hurst pick because he was a good defensive tackle. Played for a great defensive team, and we'll see what's going on with that. I know he failed because of injuries. But outside of that, you know, wasn't a fan of the picks. Best of luck to the Raiders. If they get their ass whooped, you won't see a surprise face from me. They fucking deserve it with this draft. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. Really love the support. Be easy, be you, be blessed, man.